Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of More Than Anxiety. I'm so excited to have you here today. If we've not met before, my name is Megan Devito. I am a coach. I help ambitious women manage the stress and anxiety inside of their bodies to set boundaries, stop people pleasing, and do all the things so that they can feel confident and less judged, so that they can be clear on what their boundaries are, have a great time, find success, and really love the lives that they're living. This week, it's time to start talking about the holidays. Thanksgiving is happening. It is time to thaw out your turkey. It's time to get excited. So, if you notice that you are feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, or like you just want to hide from the entire experience, this episode is an important one for you. I realized a while back that I recorded this episode a couple of years ago for Christmas, and I never did it in video form. When I started recording my podcast, everything was audio only with a hit or miss video every once in a while, and this one never made it to video. So I'm bringing it back. If you are listening to the audio, you're going to go straight into that. But if you're not, if you're just going to catch it on video, I want to bring this back full force for you so that you can feel really good, enjoy the holidays, not ghost your family and friends, and still hold your boundaries with kindness. So there are all kinds of holidays coming up, obviously. Thanksgiving this week, but also Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, all the different things. And every single one of those holiday get-togethers or expectations can cause us to feel very judged, which leads us to breaking boundaries, more stress, more anxiety, more overwhelm, and it kind of kills the holiday spirit no matter what you celebrate. So let's find a way to solve for these problems. My goal in this episode is to help you find a way to enjoy the holidays without anxiety and stress messing up your celebrations. And let's start by talking about high functioning anxiety and how it throws all kinds of monkey wrenches in the plans that you've already made. If you don't know what high functioning anxiety is, it's really people who are out there feeling sometimes mildly anxious, sometimes incredibly anxious. We all have different tolerances to how our bodies feel when we're anxious, but noticing that there is definitely maybe an upper level of like high stress or an anxious feeling that is always happening in the background. You're out there doing life, you're going to work, you are going to the holiday gatherings, but you're not enjoying them because you feel awful. And to compensate for those feelings, you start doing everything you can to make the feeling go away. Now, oftentimes, if it's not something chemical that's happening inside of your body, it's what you think about what's happening outside in the world around you, what people are saying about you, what they expect of you, what you think you should be doing to make them happy. All of the holiday pressure and those expectations can make that anxiety feel so much worse. You might be asking yourself questions like, what am I going to cook that everybody will like? What if I can't cook? What if it's terrible? How much food do I buy? Will anybody like this? What if someone's gluten free? What if somebody tells me it's awful? What if I just go buy the rolls instead of making them myself? That's food alone, just the food part. Never mind when we start thinking about, should I show up early? Should I be on time? Should I show up late? How long do I have to stay? What if I feel like I have to stay and I want to leave? How do I leave without everybody getting mad at me? How do I deal with all of my family when they start asking me questions that I don't want to answer? We're going to address all of these things in this episode. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what my life experience was with anxiety and how it still shows up in my life. So if you don't know my backstory, I think this is a good time to tell it again. It's been a while. I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder when I was in the third grade. And I'm 50, and there wasn't a lot of talk about anxiety back when I was a kid, but I definitely was a very anxious kid. I often had upset stomachs. I would cry. I just wanted to be at home. I was also highly sensitive and the oldest daughter and taking in all the things around me and trying to be the good girl and trying to enjoy things. And I loved Christmas and I love my family. I hit the family jackpot. I will not pretend that I understand a lot of family drama because it hasn't been my experience. But anxiety was my jam for a lot of years. When I turned 40, I noticed that something had changed in my life. It happened to coincide right about the times that I started learning about my brain and my thoughts and started coaching people, which is why I coach people with anxiety. But when you look at what high functioning anxiety can still look like for me personally, oftentimes it comes out in people pleasing and breaking boundaries or stressing over making everybody happy or how much to eat, how much not to eat, feeling overstimulated and having to go to the bathroom for a little bit of time just to find some quiet. So let's talk about what you might do to try to feel better because all of those things can work. Lots of times you're in a place of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So this is what people think will help, but it doesn't. One of those things is isolation, where you just go off by yourself. Maybe it's hiding in the bathroom, or maybe it's not showing up at all, but you hide away and you say things like, I get too anxious and I'm afraid I'll just freak out and everybody will think things about me. Or if I don't go, then I just don't have to have the awkward conversations and try to figure out what to say. Or they can't make fun of me for making gross food if I don't go and don't bring anything. The problem is that when you don't show up, you've just reinforced the idea that something's actually wrong or that someone's going to make fun of you or you can't handle a situation or a feeling inside of your body. So it's that discomfort or that intolerance to feeling anxious, which is really the problem. So let's say, for example, that you make an appearance and you end up hiding in the corner. Now, I'm not saying you have to attend every party that you're invited to. In fact, I would encourage you not to attend every party that you're invited to. But going and shying away because you feel anxious isn't teaching you how to handle those situations. It's okay to slip away to the bathroom and take a few minutes to get some quiet or to go outside to get a breath of fresh air. And it's okay to skip if it's not fitting into your calendar or if it's not with somebody who completely makes you excited about the holidays. But if you wish that you could go and stay and you wish that you could participate, that's entirely different. Another way that people tend to cope with things during the holiday is to numb it out. We eat a lot of sugar. We drink a lot of alcohol. We go and we just kind of get in this mix of eating and drinking our feelings away. And yeah, that feels really good for a little while. But it does not feel good the next day. And when we're doing it to feel better in advance, we're actually priming our system to not to be able to tolerate things once again. We don't like that feeling. And sometimes we go, let's say we're going to have a glass of wine and we get a little loose lipped and we start saying things. And then we judge ourselves on the back end. Like, what was I thinking? Why did I have that wine? Then I said this stupid thing. Now everybody thinks I'm an idiot, which by the way, may not be true at all, but you have more judgment and you've just made yourself more anxious. And that can come really from that overindulgence, or even on the opposite end, if we're not talking about having too much to drink, we could be talking about like, I'm stress eating, right? I feel so anxious all the time. Ooh, a cookie. Look at this. There's a piece of candy. Or I'm going to have another piece of pie. And then we've wrecked our gut. I've read multiple times, and I'm sure you have as well, that we talk about flu season. I mean, if you follow more of the holistic health scene on social media, you might hear about how flu season tends to coincide with how much sugar we eat. And there's this theory out there that maybe it's sugar poisoning or something like that. Maybe it is and maybe it isn't. But we do know that when we eat junk food, that our brains don't work well. And it also increases our anxiety because your gut and your brain are so intricately connected. So we try to eat or drink more to calm the feeling, to give us those good feelings inside of our body from the sugar or from the alcohol. And we end up feeling worse. Another problem is over planning. And this comes from trying to keep away either imaginary catastrophic conversations or trying to make everybody happy by squeezing way too much into our schedule and then stressing out because we don't have any time for ourselves. These are really just fears of someone being upset with us, telling us that we should have been more present. Why did you leave early? Or why did you not come at all? And really being afraid of what anybody else will think about us if we were to hold our boundaries and just say, you know what? I don't have time in my schedule for that right now. So what really helps, all of those things make it worse. So let's talk about what will actually help you so that you have some practical tips that you can use right now that will bring down the stress and anxiety levels on the front end, but also give you some scripts that you can use for those awkward conversations or maybe that unsolicited advice that you really don't have time or the bandwidth for, how you can hold those boundaries with kindness and without over explaining. The first thing you have to do is you have to be mindful. You have to ask yourself the right questions to check in with yourself, not to make sure that everybody else is happy with you, to make sure that you are happy with you. So ask yourself, am I really hungry or am I just stressing out and I think I need to eat that piece of pie? Am I full? Might be a good question for you. Have I had enough to drink? I've had a glass and a half of wine. Do I really want to get another glass? Or do I just think that that might be something good to take away some of this feeling? Or is it just a habit? Am I overstimulated or triggered? Or am I just in the wrong place with the wrong people? That's kind of a sticky one, isn't it? Because you could be overstimulated and in the right place with the right people. But asking yourself the questions to find out exactly how you feel, what emotions are coming up, what do you think you need to do? The way to do this is to really pay attention to what you're enjoying and to make tiny moves back to feeling good when you notice that you're starting to feel triggered. So, when you notice that your stress and anxiety levels are going up, what is it that you actually need? Do you need fresh air? Do you need to take a few breaths? Do you need to go talk to somebody who is your go to person? Maybe you have that cousin that just gets it. And you're like, you know what? I just need 5 minutes with you. Let's go outside and talk. Maybe you just need to go sit somewhere in the quiet and listen to music. Maybe you just need to pet the dog. All of those things are great ways to bring your energy down so that you don't have to evacuate the premises and leave the dinner if that's where you want to be. The second thing you have to do after being mindful is have boundaries that you're willing to hold. If Uncle Fred is too loud or getting political, what do you want to do so that you don't lose your mind? One thing you can do is use the calm communicator script that I have. It's 10 go to phrases that you can use on the fly for all kinds of different situations this Thanksgiving. Whether it's a political conversation, whether it's your mom saying, when are you going to give me some grandchildren? Or maybe it's somebody asking you, I'm sorry, what do you do at your job? Is that that's not even a job. I don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm talking about, right? All of those conversations that make your toes curl in your shoes and you're going to pound somebody, I got a script for that. And you can grab that. It's part of the Black Friday bundle. It's available until the end of the day on Black Friday. It's $47, and you get 3 more resources with it that are going to help you set boundaries and hold boundaries without over explaining yourself and with kindness to create more space in your calendar and to have you find more ways to take care of yourself on the front end and during the entire holiday season so that you're perpetually managing the stress so that the stress doesn't turn into anxiety. So Uncle Fred doesn't have to kill your holiday. And it really comes down to deciding what your primary boundary is and what your plan is. Create a plan so that you can hold it. It might feel awkward and uncomfortable, but you can do it. You just have to decide what's important to you based on your values. And then another recommendation that I would always have is to pre-plan your exit. Just because you're invited to a party that goes until midnight doesn't mean you have to stay till midnight. You are more than welcome to leave after a half hour if that's it. You went, you made an appearance, you told everybody how happy you were to be there. And after a half hour, if you've decided that you're ready to go, it's okay to say, thank you so much for having me. Unfortunately, I really do have to get home to take care of myself. I've got a big season coming up and I have loved every second of being here. I'm looking forward to doing it again next year or seeing you back at the office on Monday, whatever the situation is. But you have to decide how long you want to be there and how long you need to stay or need to go. Just decide before you go. If you're having a great time, you can always stay longer. And if the plan's an hour, just let people know that you were happy to come and excuse yourself. Smile, thanks so much for having me, and go. They will understand. And I promise you that in 2 minutes, nobody's saying, God, I can't believe that Megan left early. And if they are, they're not going to tell you that anyway. And if they do, I have a script for that. And finally, taking care of yourself before you ever go to the party, the dinner, or anything else so that you can be well rested, so you can follow your normal routine, whether that's getting up and working out, doing yoga during the day, drinking water, journaling, eating healthy foods, meditating, whatever it is that helps you feel really solid in the middle of May. Keep that routine through the holidays. I know there's more good stuff to eat. I know there's more opportunities for good drinks and good fun and staying up late. But you have to ensure that you are sleeping and eating well, that you're being mindful, that you're monitoring how your body feels so that the anxiety and the stress don't overtake you. I mentioned before that I have people pleased my way through the holidays in the past. I have gotten so much better at setting those boundaries and holding those boundaries. The scripts I'm offering to you are scripts that I have used myself in situations. And this is exactly what I teach my clients when we're working together. Whether we're talking about Christmas or we're talking about their tendency to be a perfectionist or to people please or to just let people run their calendar like crazy. putting those boundaries down is so important, and realizing that the judgment that you fear everyone else is putting on you is coming from the judgment that you are placing on yourself. That's a big topic, isn't it? And we will get into that more in December. And I will talk so much more about how you can take care of yourself, even when you have a packed schedule, even when you're in that last month of trying to achieve those Q4 goals. You really can feel rested and have an incredible holiday without the stress and the overwhelm. So thank you so much for being with me and for listening to this episode. I hope that you will leave a comment. If you have questions, I would love to jump on and answer those in some shorts and to tag you in them to get you some notifications on YouTube and to get your questions answered. And also, if you can tag your friends in this, that you're like, you know what, you're the one that's always like freaked out about parties, talk to her. I would love to be able to help them and just help them feel really good about the holiday season. I want everybody to enjoy themselves. I want everybody feeling their best and bringing their best into the world. I say it every time, but my goal is always to help everyone fire on all cylinders so that we are all bringing our best, doing what we were created to do, and offering the world all of the goodness and joy and happiness that we can. Again, if you are new here, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave a review. It helps me so much, and I appreciate it more than you will ever know. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and I will be back again next week. Take care.